All right, everybody. It is 10:45 on Friday. We are live, ready to go. All right, we got Mike will be here in a second, and we have a special guest today. So let's get everything going. What coffee is it? What coffee are you drinking today? Today I'm drinking Ground Shark Blue Belt coffee. Got the temperature right today.
Hello.
What's up, man?
What's cracking?
Not too much.
How you feeling?
Oh no. All right. All right. So, how's it been?
Oh man, it's going.
Cool.
We got the reopen date.
Yeah, May 26th, right?
baby.
See what happens, bro.
Right. I mean, keep my fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed everything is good. Oh, our caller is here. All right.
Yeah.
Connect. Oh, crap. What happened? Where'd he go? Okay, there he is.
Hey, I think I'm in.
Good.
Oh, you're in. Yes.
Hey.
What's happening,
Mike?
Nick?
What's
How
up,
you
Nick?
guys doing?
Oh, we're good. How are you?
I'm good. It's been cool,
All right.
looking at your guys' journey and all that. I was kind of looking around and, I can't leave the live room, huh? I got to stay in the live room to stay on the call, huh?
Okay.
No,
Okay. It's good to know.
I've
Well, no, I was
been
gonna
able to.
look.
I can click around and do stuff, so I think you can.
Interesting. No, either way, I was going to look back at your show list. You guys been doing this since what, January?
What, December last year?
Yeah,
It's been about a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we've been doing the live shows since we went on lockdown. So.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, it said January 19, didn't it? I was reading it as January 20. Either way, good to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Good.
How's your day going, man?
It's good. Try to wake up a little bit earlier than normal today. I've
Yeah.
been sleeping in, which is, I guess, not what a coffee guy should do, but here we are.
Well, that's why coffee exists. Oh, for everyone listening, this is Nick from Ground Shark Coffee, who sent us a bunch of delicious coffee.
Good.
Last
Glad you guys
week.
like it.
Yeah, it's been good, man.
I haven't gotten to try it yet. We've still
We haven't seen each other.
we've been separated, so Mike's sitting on a gold mine of coffee, and I'm sipping on some Dunkin' Donuts. So
Oof.
there's a trade off, you know.
Don't worry, man. You're getting all of it next week.
I know. It's okay.
I'm not keeping any of it. Well, except for the Wayfarer. I'm keeping that, by the way. But everything else is
Oh
yours.
yeah. I love it. All right, so I was reading your About Us on your website, right? I love just kind of your open-minded approach. You want people to take life in their own control, kind of stuff like that. That's sort of what we've always been talking about, preaching. Love it. I think jiu-jitsu people kind of naturally gravitate towards that.
I think so too.
I think just they're the outliers naturally a lot of times, and that's jiu-jitsu is kind of where they find their group of people or their tribe or whatever, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I just think it aligns with what we talk about a lot. So I loved it.
Yeah, man. Thank you. That's something that we've been really trying to bring out more in our branding and in our marketing campaigns lately. Because that's been something from the start. And this is I'm 25. We started the company. I was 23. I had just turned 23 when we had the idea.
Okay.
And so before that, I was managing a construction site. So I had no marketing experience to speak of. I didn't even take a marketing class in college, nothing.
Right.
And Adam, my business partner, he's been in the culinary field for a while. He's a bit older than me. And so he's the one who roasts all the coffee. And he picked it up real quick because he's been a chef by trade for 20 years now, maybe more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so we've really been writing on his quality product, right? And I haven't really had the experience to really back up and know exactly how to like get a story across, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So over the past 2 years, that's been something from the very start, right? Where it was like, neither of us are really people to want to take a big like political or like socioeconomic stand through our company, but we both have this just like huge respect for anyone who like takes their life and takes their own, I guess their living situation into their own hands, and just really makes a stand. Like whatever that is, you got to respect people like that. And that's been a huge focus lately, is really trying to bring that out more.
I love it.
It's been a good time for it.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And that's the thing. Like, I don't want to go off on some like crazy tangent through any of our marketing or anything about like wear a mask or don't wear a mask, right? Like my personal opinion is kind of inconsequential, right? But it's like whatever you really believe is going on, like stand for it, do the research, stand for it, take it seriously.
Yeah.
Do what you're gonna do. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's sort of just yesterday. I was kind of just thinking about it a lot. Is you got to find a way to do what you want to do. Find what you're comfortable doing, but do what you got to do. Do what you want to do. I mean, I've sort of semi-recently, like started teaching jujitsu full time, and then like doing this podcast and stuff like that. I just, it's something that like I always work towards, and like finally have started to actually do. So it took a lot longer than I would have expected or anything. But it's just
you're ahead of the game, Mike. Don't worry. You're making more money than I was at your age. You're fine.
Right. Yeah. I cannot complain whatsoever. But whatever obstacles I do face, it's just they're my own obstacles. It's my own choice. It's all this. It's my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So I absolutely agree. You got to respect everyone who does that. Like,
yeah.
So what are you sipping on, Mike?
Oh, what am I sipping on?
Yeah.
Mike and Nick and Mike and oh man, it's gonna be nice. I'm drinking Blue Belt today. Ground Shark.
That's
Blue
our
Belt.
flagship, man.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah, that's our medium roast. That's our fan favorite for sure. It's a good one.
Right on. Okay. I had purple belt yesterday as a bit of a double entendre, being that I'm a blue belt. I wanted to taste the future, but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So what are you drinking today, Nick?
Favorite, I'm drinking our new one actually that hasn't dropped yet. Our Horizon Roast.
I've seen pictures.
Yeah, we've been working on it. Well, actually, so I don't know if you guys really watched our story over the past few months. Adam, my business partner, roaster, he got his whole cervical spine fused in February.
Yeah, we've been watching that.
No kidding,
dude, it's been nuts. It was C2 through T1, I think.
Batman.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But so he was off the roaster for what? That was, I think he got it fused like the week of like February 10th ish, and then he didn't get back on the roaster till like, man, late March.
That's actually pretty damn quick.
Yeah, I mean, I was helping him, like he can't put the coffee in the top of the machine, so I had to like lift it up above there to put it in. So like,
it's impressive.
Yeah, no, he's been really pushing rehab and everything because it took his whole life away, man. Like he roasted coffee. He's a jiu-jitsu brown belt. He coached jiu-jitsu 3 to 4 days a week, and then me and him would climb all the time too. And man, he can't do any of it, and he's still not able to train or climb, but he can at least work again. But anyway, that delayed this release because we were just starting to look at coffee right when he got hurt. It was like that weekend was the first weekend. The weekend after was the first weekend we were supposed to like start testing it. And he couldn't do it. So it was like, oh, well, you got to wait a while. So we've been waiting on this one for forever. So I'm super pumped to finally bring it out to everybody because it's good, man.
Horizon.
How
do you make it?
That's the honey roast, right? Like this,
the honey process. Yeah. So it's an El Salvador single origin, and it's a honey process. And for those listening who don't know what a honey process is,
yes,
it's kind of in the middle of the two. Like, what's the word? I would say normal, more common. ways to process coffee, the natural way and the washed process. And it's basically what they do is they take off the fruit, but leave the like what's called a mucilage, which is the like really high sugar content surrounding the bean. They leave that on the bean. Then they put it all out in the sun and that dries. And over time, as that dries, it kind of goes through the Maillard process. So that honey gets darker and darker. So there's 3 different types of the honey process: yellow, red, and black. And I believe this is kind of somewhere in between yellow and red. And so it picks up that sweetness that you usually get from a natural process, which our white belt is a natural. And then, but it keeps the density that you usually get from a washed process, which usually washed beans, they're generally a little cheaper. They can handle a darker roast. They're easier to produce. So, but that honey process kind of skirts the line between them both, and really, you can pick up both flavors. So it's really complex for a single origin. I'm pretty pumped about it.
Okay, yeah, I had my first honey process last week.
It's good, huh?
I never had one before, and a roastery had sent us some, and it's really it was tasty. It was very it had a lot of flavors in it.
Yeah,
it was, and we were just wondering what the heck that was. So conveniently, you've answered our question. All right. Oh, and on another note, how do you brew your coffee?
Right now, I'm drinking it out of a French press, but my favorite's a pour over.
All right.
I just got this really nice grinder, but I had to let Adam borrow it so he could come up with the best ratios and grind sizes and everything, because it's actually the same grinder we're selling on our website, and he's got a better taste for it. So he's got my nice grinder. So for now, French press.
Right on. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely a French press junkie.
Yeah,
I like French press. Yeah.
French press, pour over, Moka Pot. I mean, I'll mix it up.
Yeah, Moka Pot. Moka Pot's nice. My Aero Press I like as well.
Yeah. And my only complaint about the Moka Pot is that I can only have like 1 cup, or I get like jittery, just freaked out. Like
it does make stronger coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, if I want to make like a mixed drink, I'll make it.
Right. Or if I'm in a rush, if I've only got time for 1 cup, I'll make a Moka Pot, and hit the road, and then know I'm good.
Straight for the high octane, man.
Yeah, that rocket fuel.
But I mean, I can do a Keurig if I have to. I mean, I'll drink whatever. I'll complain about it. But
I don't know, I'm pretty much full mobile now. So, go ahead, man.
You're what?
I'm full mobile now. I got that little French press. So and my mobile coffee grinder. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm sure you have like a carrying case and all sorts of stuff for everything. So getting the Batman utility belt for coffee.
Getting there. Wait, what were you gonna say, Mike? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, I mean, I can barely hear in general, so I mean, I'm gonna interrupt and do shit. So I'm sorry in advance.
It's the nature of the live cast. We can't see each other, so the cues are weird.
True. It's okay.
Yeah.
But have you been able to train at all during this weirdness, or like, what have you been able to do during this off time? Like,
so so my brother does Facebook ads and marketing. My little brother, not quite for a living, but he's trying to get a kind of an agency off the ground right now.
Sure.
And he's going to school at Mizzou, University of Missouri. And when that kind of all shut down, and he lived in a frat house, he got kicked out of his he didn't get kicked out of his frat house. They shut the house down for the pandemic. And so he had 2 decisions. He could either move home with my parents for the summer, or he could move out here, stay out, because I live in Colorado.
Right.
And my parents are in St. Louis. And it was either move home and live with my parents, or move out here, stay with me, maybe get a place out here for the summer and just work. So he moved out here. And so him and I have really been like pushing the marketing and lately, and like really trying to figure that out. So because of that, since he's only here for a limited time before he goes hopefully back to school in the fall,
right,
we've really been like hammering that out. So I guess the answer to your question is I haven't really been training as much as I've liked, but that's partly because we've just been working so much.
Right.
We've kind of like leaned into it and been like, well, we can't really train anyway. Might as well use the time we have, get rid of the distraction, and really like take this company to the next level.
Right. You're training the marketing, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. I've also been teaching him how to box a little bit, a couple days a week. That's been awesome. That's been so much fun.
Boxing. Yeah.
I do too.
Boxing's cool. And so I want to like pick your brain about marketing, but I guess this isn't the podcast for it. But we are also trying to expand a bit, both with the cast and like personally. We both have our own things going on, so we might have to hit up your little brother.
Yeah, man. Once I'm done with it, I'll pass him on.
Okay.
Need his attention right now.
No.
But marketing's interesting, man. It's a kind of a beast. Marketing's just there's so much to it, and it really comes down to just like telling a compelling story, you know.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you guys do a great job of telling that story without like shoving it down anyone's throat. Not that there is anything to shove down someone's throat, but like you have a good message. It's strong, and again, jiu-jitsu people stand behind. Absolutely, like again, jiu-jitsu people and just people now, especially during this time, supporting smaller companies, not smaller, but like local companies, stuff like that.
Sure.
As opposed to massive companies and brands.
Man,
so important. So
the outpouring of support from the community has been absolutely incredible, man. Like when the pandemic hit and the quarantines hit and the stock market kind of went through that little crash it had, our sales went through the roof. Like we set sales records month over month for the past few months. It's been kind of nuts.
Oh,
that's
cool.
Awesome.
But yeah, which is crazy and unexpected, right? And it's like I'm loving it, but I almost like there's that little bit of like, oh man, when I ask my buddies like, hey, how are you guys doing? And they're like, not well. And I'm like, oh
yeah,
and whatever,
dude.
It's nice.
For sure.
Well, so chaos breeds opportunity, man.
Dude, absolutely.
That's like a great line. As like an entrepreneur during this time, like, do you ever experience any type of like guilt for like prospering during this time, like in a weird way, or like?
I wouldn't call it guilt, but there's definitely like when I ask a buddy, because like I've got a couple of good friends who own one of them kind of a startup, and then one of them a little bit more established, but skincare and grooming products. And my buddy in the skincare industry, he's been around for a while, and he makes a great product, but it's an expensive product, but it's well worth the money. And it's definitely one of those things where it's like it's a bit of a luxury product, right? Where like the economy's great, his business is booming, and then when the economy tanks, it's like, well, what do people not need to look good for? Staying at home, you know. So his sales have been down, but it's like at the same time when the economy picks back up, he's probably going to slingshot out of this and start crushing.
Sure.
But when I talk to him and it's like, hey man, how's business with you? He's like, not super great. I kind of like, I don't feel guilty about doing well, but I try to keep that not the topic of discussion, if that makes sense. It's like if someone's not doing well, but I'm just like, man, I'm crushing it. I'm doing great. Sales are great. Like people are loving the coffee. And then it's just like, cool, dude. Like I'm trying to pay rent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a unique position to be in during this like weird shit.
Totally, dude.
It is very weird to be doing okay when others are not. Yeah. And it's how you handle it.
And to be honest, and I don't mean to cut you off. To be honest, though, that's part of the reason we built the business how we did. Knowing that there's a few things that people lean on in times of crisis, and those are honestly coffee and alcohol. Like when things are bad, people aren't gonna stop drinking coffee and they're not gonna stop drinking booze, and it's like, why not pick something? And like really trying to push like alcohol in a time like this, I'd feel bad about, right? I'd be like, you know what? Maybe we should all sober up a little bit. But like with coffee, I'm like, this stuff's good for you. Keep drinking it. So I have That's great. And that's part of the reason why we fixed coffee and part of the reason why we built the company mostly centered around e-com. Because it's like, if we do this like this, no matter what happens, we could at least still have a chance.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really cool. That is like a thing. It's people are always going to drink. It's been around forever.
Dude, thousands of years.
Everyone loves coffee. We do push drink good coffee a lot on our show. And it's, if you go back to like the beginning, I mean, we have 54 episodes now, I think
so.
But that's evolved. We keep getting like more and more snobby about it, which is cool.
Dude, so do we. I try so hard not to be, right? I try to be like, all right, man, like as long as you're drinking coffee, like you're good. Like I like that, right? And now I'm like, you have to drink it right. You have to have a nice grinder. You have to get your ratio right, or I'm just like, all right, I need to relax. Like,
yeah. No, we're definitely the same way. Yeah, you get worse.
Yeah, you do. You just go down this rabbit hole. Well, and then you surround yourself with other people who really like coffee, and then it just gets like worse and worse and worse. It's like this echo chamber. It's like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're almost ready to have monocles. I don't know. But I like being obsessed with stuff like that though. I think like Mike would say, it's back to jujitsu. Like I think people who train at a high level, like I've done combat sports my whole life and have gotten to a pretty, really, high level at certain things. You get obsessed with details.
Absolutely.
So, why not have your coffee be the same way?
Dude, I mean, it's that saying, from, I think, the Tao Te Ching, right? He who sees the way sees it in all things. It's
yeah, man.
With coffee, with jujitsu. I actually, my athletic background is in lacrosse. I played lacrosse in college, and I left the team after about 2.5 years. Walked off the field, and within a week, I was on the jiu-jitsu mats. And I was like, I like this.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was that way, right? Like playing in college, it's really that next level. It's playing at like the highest level that I could probably perform at, and man, it was all about details, right? It's just like, it's little things like foot pointed one way or the other way, or reacting at a different time, anticipating different movements. Like but it's the same concept as a deep understanding of jiu-jitsu or of coffee or of anything else, where it's just like really focusing on those details and taking it to that next level. And I think when you get there, it becomes a little bit harder to relate to someone on that topic who hasn't taken it to that level. And so I think that's really the key of a good marketing strategy when it comes to a brand like ours, where it's really centered around quality. It's like, how do I get across the point that we know what we're talking about without making people feel like an idiot for maybe not knowing what they're like, maybe not knowing as much as me. Does that make sense?
Yep. Absolutely.
I don't know, Mike, you can relate that to teaching real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. That's teaching in a nutshell.
Right.
Just
with, just relates back to your message, right? You're relaying positivity. There's a huge culture behind coffee. There's a huge, like you said, there's a way to drink it. There's a temperature. It depends on how you present that. You could be a pretentious dick about it and be like, you need to drink it this way. Or you can be like, hey, man, I like it this way. Let me show you. If you like it, cool, take it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just a huge culture behind it. And again, just like jiu-jitsu, there's a culture behind it. You can be a dick about it or you can be cool about it. It just depends.
Absolutely.
So,
let's see. Okay, so your Instagram is pretty awesome.
Thank you.
I personally really enjoy it. I do most of the Instagram for the page, for as far as for Coffee Regular. I flat out want to ask you how you make your stories. Like, they look so nice when you post stuff. And when things are written, I don't know how to do that. But your brand is really consistent, not just with like what you say, but like the look of it's very cool.
So a big part of that actually, for consistency, I just make sure I use the same Instagram filter on every photo we post. It's just the same filter on every single one. Like, I can edit a photo. So I've got a bit of a bit of a background in photography. I started up photography maybe a year after I started up jiu-jitsu. Um, and that's been a bit of a bonus for us because I can go, and living in Colorado, like I'm up in the mountains all the time. So I can always go up, find a cool spot, take a cool, good photo, like a few good photos for the company Instagram, just with our stuff in cool spots. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but no matter how those photos come out, no matter how we edit them, whether they're a jujitsu gym video or a mountain photo or whatever, I just put the same filter on it, and then it winds up looking way more consistent than it probably is.
Ah, whoa, okay.
It's good to know it's working.
Yeah, that's cool
Yeah.
though. That's nice. That's a cool little trick. I've been trying out different filters and stuff just for fun, and I never thought about like pick one and stick with it because that breeds consistency.
Yeah, and like if you look back at our old Instagram, I think I've kind of archived a few of our old photos. Um,
Mhm.
but if you look back at the beginning, it was definitely scattered, and then over time, it kind of found its voice a little bit.
Okay. I guess I'm trying to figure out how to take cooler pictures of bags of coffee and cups of coffee. Um, but my yard is my version of the mountains.
Sure.
I got all the seasons in my yard.
No
I got the
kidding.
banana trees and the bonsai, and the throw deck is
That's
gonna
awesome.
happen. Got my I got a new air conditioner. Like right now, I'm getting a new air conditioner, so I might have to leave in this like at some point. But that's why there's two hosts. But I had to move it, Mike, so it's not back in
Oh
the
yeah.
corner anymore. So now that whole area is going to open up. We can put the throw deck right there.
Okay.
And yes. And I made him at some point. I'm going to put a door in the back of my garage there as well. So
Okay.
it's going to be.
So Nick, Mike's basement is converted into basically just like the best gym you could imagine. So
Awesome.
I'll give you the story. I was on a Zoom with Travis Stevens, the a judo Olympian, silver medalist.
Yeah.
He was doing a Zoom, and there were like, I don't know, like 20 people on this Zoom. We all got on, and one person was like, "Oh, somebody's at the school." And I'm like, "You talking about me?" They're like, "Yeah, you." I'm like, "I'm in my basement, guys." So it gives you an idea what my basement looks like these days.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
The guy who makes all of our apparel, or not makes, he prints all of our apparel.
Mhm.
He owns Bleeding Edge, if you've heard of them, and dude, he's got an awesome gym in his basement, and it's like, man, I kind of want to be going over to his place all the time during this quarantine, but
Yeah,
trying
dude.
to distance a little bit.
Yeah,
Man, that home
Dude.
gym setup though, that's awesome. Like,
it's nice.
Mike's got like he's got it like split in like a third base, well, like kind of a quarter really. It's like quarter kung fu movie room museum, quarter striking, quarter grappling, quarter strength and conditioning. Like it's massively efficient. It's jujitsu in feng shui form. Like it's just all over the place, but it's awesome.
it's awesome.
It's actually about
flows
to get
perfectly.
better. I figured out a new place to put the squat rack.
Okay.
I think like it'll fit in a different spot and it will totally improve the flow. It's going to be nuts.
Sweet.
Yeah, we're going to start doing videos and stuff down there, so it's going to look
Yeah.
nice. Yes.
It's awesome.
So Nick, with Adam, your partner Adam's background in like the culinary world, right? How much would you say like his palate and his taste and his experience there pays off? Like, well, like how much does that get utilized? Or
Dude, it's invaluable. Everything we do gets run through his palate. Like
Yep.
I have. It's so funny, man. Like when we're doing like cuppings and everything, and we're tasting coffee, he's like, "This one's better because it's got X, Y, and Z," or "I like this one because it's got A, B, and C." And I'm like, "This one's coffee. This one's also coffee." Like I have no clue what I'm talking about, and he like gets it, and it's, man. If he wasn't around, I'd be doing something else if he wasn't around. So yeah, all the time.
Yeah, right. So we've kind of talked about before, but like I need someone sometimes with certain things. Again, like I equate it to like bourbon and stuff. Like to me, like before, I'm like bourbon was bourbon, it was brown, whatever. And then I had a buddy like break it down, tell me how to drink it, tell me why this is good, and like tell me these things, and like then I just like basically started to enjoy it from that, like just having someone explain that conceptually to me. and just
Yep.
sort of the technique and stuff behind it. Again, never
Definitely.
did it pretentiously or like shoved it down my throat or anything. He's just kind of like, this is cool.
Yeah,
this
he
is
did it
why
right.
I like
Yeah.
it. Like, yeah. And now I like bourbon's cool. Like, and it's fucking cool, you know, just like coffee.
Yeah, I for about a year in college, I bartended at a startup brewery, and the head brewer was also one of the owners, and he kind of did that to me with beer. And that was like, I always knew that like, yeah, this one's good or this one's bad, or I'd like this one or that one or whatever. But like, I couldn't really put my finger on why and what the flavors were and like what a specific mouthfeel or a specific texture comes from.
Sure.
And then when he sat down and really explained it to me, now it's like, man, I can pick up a beer out of nowhere and I can tell you at least a few different yeast strains, right? Where it's like, oh, I think that one got made with the same yeast as this one, and like things like that. And like,
oh, nice.
I'm getting that way with coffee, but I'm not quite there yet. But Adam definitely gets it, and it's cool.
Yeah.
It's like another level of understanding.
Definitely. My brother-in-law is a sommelier and does that with wine, and he's into bourbons and stuff. And again, he's just another source that I can like learn from. Again, I'm not even like super into bourbon or wine, but again, like just to know is
Party trick.
Yeah, exactly. Just to be like, yes, the tannins on the back end. Like,
yeah, right. And everyone's like,
shit.
who the fuck is this guy?
Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, it's funny.
So what other hobbies do you have aside from coffee, jiu-jitsu, photography?
A lot of climbing, man. It's another thing
climbing,
we've been doing kind of a good amount of, and I say a good amount, not really a good amount, but more than jiu-jitsu in the quarantine. Because it's been like me and Adam, we got into climbing last summer together. He used to do a bunch of rock climbing back in the day, and I did a little bit back in college. And we were sitting there talking because all of our meetings kind of sucked. It'd be like, I'd have to go over to his house and we'd sit around and like just talk business for a little bit. And that'd be that. And it was like, this is fine, but it's too corporate. Like we need to have a reason to like want to go and talk business and like hammer shit out. And it was like, well, there's a rock climbing gym right in between our houses because we live like 30 minutes apart too. That was a bit of another problem. But it's like, there's a rock climbing gym right in the middle. We both got a bit of a background, and it complements jiu-jitsu so well.
Yeah, dude.
So it's just like, well, let's meet here. So we started climbing like 3 days a week, and it was a super easy sell. It was like, all right, well, let's just go to the climbing gym, climb for an hour or two, and talk the business we got to talk. And that was huge for us. And then we actually at the gym met a guy, Alex, who we wound up hiring on as our like wholesale manager. And we met him at the climbing gym, and he's actually got a jiu-jitsu blue belt. He's more into climbing than he is jiu-jitsu, but he trains and he climbs, and it's like, you fit here, you know?
Yeah.
Cool, okay.
But climbing's big, man, and it actually helped Adam's neck before it went bad. It was actually getting better because of the climbing, because it's like it contrasts with jiu-jitsu really well. The body movements do.
Okay.
That's awesome. But yeah, like picking up the dude at the climbing gym, he's like surrounding yourself with like-minded people is super important with this stuff, you know, like people that have a like mind but are going to say and think and do different things, you know. I think that's
man, absolutely
helps things grow. So that's awesome.
Yep.
So you've spent plenty of time like in Colorado and nature and all that stuff, right? I imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have any Sasquatch experiences?
No. I do have some weird animal experiences though. You guys ever seen a moose in person?
Not in person.
Not in person.
Dude, they're huge. I was off-roading one day in my Jeep, and I came around a corner and I was looking up at the moose, and I was like, Jesus. Like, this dude's just standing in the middle of the trail looking at me, chewing on some grass. Like, what the hell are you gonna do about it, bud? I ain't gonna do anything.
You're like, I'm not doing shit. I'm gonna drive away, bud.
Dude, like, I'm sitting there in a Jeep, like pretty high off the ground, looking up at this guy's torso. I'm like, I did not know they were that big. They're huge.
Yeah. I've seen them like, I've recently seen like videos of like two bull moose fighting in like a residential area. Like, I can only imagine
That's
like
nuts.
the
Justin
mayhem.
Buckles one?
Yeah.
Alaska
I imagine the mayhem that would ensue from that. But Yeah, dude. Moose are insane. Like
They are
badass. Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like wildlife experiences, I ran over a bear cub. Actually, that was pretty sad.
dang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was driving up Highway 70 up the western slope of the state late at night. I was actually trying to beat a storm home. I was over in Utah and trying to like race this storm back to Denver, and I came around a bend and there was two like bear cubs running across the road. They're like the size of Great Danes, like huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I came around the corner and there was two running across the road, and I was like, well, I was going like 75. I was like, I can't avoid these. I gotta either pick one or like try to scoot right in the middle, which I know won't work. So I just like had to pick one and I hit it. Like that was a real bummer.
Dude,
that
that sucks.
Rough choice.
Luckily I was in a Jeep with the steel front bumper, and like the car was fine, but the bear was just not fine.
Oh, that hurts, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I think I fucked up your car.
No, actually, no damage at all. Like crazy, no damage.
Dang.
Well, I guess now you know what that front bumper thing's for, right? Yeah.
Well, it was actually
Bear smacking.
it's what's called a stubby bumper, if you guys know what that is, where it doesn't cover the front tires.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you use it for like rock crawling and stuff, right? But I hit the bear like with the tire, and that's it.
Oh,
So
geez.
it's just like, yeah, that's. I don't need to talk anymore about that.
Yeah, that's done.
Yeah.
Painful memory. Yeah.
Rough day.
Mhm.
Oh well.
Nothing low Java can't cure, though. You know.
Yeah, right. Let's bring it back to coffee.
Yeah, back to coffee. So okay, so ask about coffee roasts. I haven't drank the brown belt yet, and we don't have any black belt just yet either. So
yeah, the black belt. So we held off on the black belt. The black belt kind of turned into our black label line. So if you look at our website, we only have one right now, but we have our main line of coffee is white, blue, brown, or white, blue, purple, and brown. And we had one roast that was called our black belt roast, and that came out a few months after those four did. Sold through it, and then instead of just doing like more black belts, they're like, what if we take this and kind of make it like our black belt or like our black label line, and do it as a more exclusive, right? Or like a limited edition. So like it's micro lots. It's things where there's only a few hundred pounds worldwide, or very specialty coffee, like a Kona. Like when we eventually do a Kona, that'll be kind of a black label.
Oh, neat. Belt. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So our Horizon roast is kind of our newest quote unquote black belt.
Okay.
So looking forward to trying those too. Yeah, it's a good marketing idea.
Yeah. We even got like black bags and everything with them. And then, so our anniversary is kind of our black belt line. So like our real, like that is like the black belt is our anniversary roast. Cause after 1 year, it was like a 1 stripe black belt, 2 years, 2 stripe. Eventually we'll be at like 20 stripe, 25 stripe. It's going to get weird, but whatever. We'll roll with it.
Hinato Laranja style.
Exactly.
That's cool though. Yeah. I mean, the difference with the black label, like the Horizon is one, and then the black belt is one, and then you're saying like a Kona is coming up. Is that when you're trying to get next, or
it's not coming up? We were joking around with the idea for our anniversary roast because like part of the reason part of the what's the word, like effect of the Horizon roast getting delayed the 2 months than it did, we're releasing it Memorial Day, and then 2 months later, 2.5 months later, we're releasing our next one for our anniversary, which is in August. So it jammed those releases. So we're playing with different ideas, and I threw out the idea of a Kona, and Adam just laughed at me because they're like $20 a pound for like green.
Oh, no joke.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like if we did a Kona, we'd sell it at like $50 for 12 ounces. It'd be ridiculous. We just need a bigger market for that. You know, we need like a bigger customer base to make that like worth it, because we might only sell one of those a week, you know, and then it's like, well, we got to waste all this extra roasted coffee if we do that.
Right. Dude, you'll get there. Getting there.
Oh yeah.
That's soon enough.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Sinister Breed's on. What's up, man?
Yeah, what's up, dude?
Oh, he's a returning listener.
Oh, you guys are from Ohio. Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that. Where at in Ohio?
Columbus, right in the middle.
Okay.
Smack dab in the middle.
You guys went to the Arnolds, didn't you?
Yes.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Man, I
Yeah,
was
liked
supposed
it.
to be there.
You were supposed to be there? Oh, no way.
Yeah, we have a deal worked out with Grappling Industries. Actually, I can set up a table at any tournament they put up.
I know. So you know Sean. Okay.
Have I met
Quite
Sean?
possibly.
I think I've met Sean. I know you know Anthony, Tony. He's one of the truck drivers. He was at the Arnold's for sure. And Marcos, if you know Marcos.
Yeah.
I don't think I've met Sean. If I did, it was just for a day. I met a guy. I don't remember his name. But anyway, we got a deal worked out with them. So I was supposed to go to the Arnold's. That was like a big portion of the deal. Was like, holy shit, I could set up a table at the Arnold's. And then, man, I lost so much money on that trip trying on reservations and flights and everything that got canceled like 3 days before. I was like, oh crap. But it wasn't. I couldn't set up the table. It was like, well, I could go and lose even more money on this. I'd have fun, but I need to stay home.
I would have bought some coffee off of you, but you didn't. You missed a lot. And you
sections open.
Yeah, well, they had competition, and then they had. I go for the strength and conditioning classes. It's not called the strength. Now it's called the Arnold Education. All the tiny smart people hang out upstairs, and then they had like the competitions downstairs. So on one hand, it was the best Arnold ever because nobody was there.
Right.
It was like I could go do a class, and then there was a break. I could run downstairs, pick out Grappling Industries, say hi to people, and like then go get lunch. And that all took 20 minutes rather than being in line for half an hour, go through things. And I met Randy Couture like 5 minutes in. But
nice.
On the other hand, if you're selling stuff, you would have sold. You actually probably would have sold quite a bit.
Well, I couldn't set up.
But yeah, you couldn't set up. It was
right.
They got rid of you. Like they got rid of all the vendors. So it was a real catch-22 thing, man.
Yeah, like I was thinking about it. Like if I could have gone, or if I just went anyway, I could have competed because I was registered to compete.
Right on.
I could have competed and just like had a bunch of coffee in my bag and kind of done it black market style, like drug dealer style, right? Have a duffel bag full of coffee.
Some coffee.
Yeah, and I was like, I could do that, but I don't even know if I'd pay the trip off if I did that, So it's like,
yeah, it was that was a kind of a wild time. No one really knew what was going on because Ohio was pretty early. We were really first to the game in the whole quarantine thing.
Yeah.
So
how are you guys doing now? I heard you have an opening date before I hopped on.
Well, yeah, it's certain business started opening like this week. And then what gyms are supposed to open up May 26th, right?
Yep.
So we're kind of the test run.
So what that means, though, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a lot of solo stuff and still distancing.
Okay. Yeah, we started doing that.
So I don't know.
Broomfield, a town in Colorado, right outside of Denver, where our gym is. They started doing that, so we could go and train, but it's all solo drills and us all wearing a mask and gloves, I think. And then actually the city of Denver, I think, started instituting a ticketing policy where if you're caught outside and like in public without a mask, it's $75 fine.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't gone that far yet, but it is strongly encouraged. You got a lot of people on either end of that as far as around here goes. Everyone seems to be all in one way or the other, which I find strange. But I don't want to dig in too much. But
I saw Gio Martinez's gym got shut down because he opened prematurely. So sheriff went and shut him down.
There was this restaurant or event hall down in Colorado Springs that opened up for Mother's Day, and a video kind of got out, and it was a packed house, and they got shut down for a month because of that.
Yeah, it's and like there's other like, I don't know if they're rumors or if it's fact, but like, there's massive fines floating around if you're getting caught open. So like business owners are juggling between like taking a fine and but also like black market opening up.
Yeah,
I
man,
don't
you
know.
got to
There's
eat.
so much exactly like
Yeah, we're
there's
hitting
so
a
much
weird
weird
point.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are. And it's weird, right? Because I try to stay out of it. I try to like not bring that out in our marketing or anything about the company. But at the end of the day, man, it's like I have too many good friends in the business, like in the business world, who
Mm.
are having trouble feeding their family. Like
Mhm.
I know too many people who are just SOL. And then
Yep.
Yeah.
to really be comfortable with it anymore, and like I know people who've gotten sick too, so it's like I'm not over here saying like, oh man, it's a hoax, like this is all bullshit, like it's not as bad as everyone says it is, because like I know people who have been in the hospital for it, but like I
Right.
also know people who can't pay rent, who can't like eat, and like all this stuff, and it's like, man, it's just a bad spot at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the world isn't really
It's
prepared again, but
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I'm right down the middle with it too. Like my family members that are immune compromised, but at the same time, like got small business stuff to gotta get going. Like
yeah, dude,
it's
Mhm.
it's
like
a hard spot,
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
and it's not as black and white as people are making it and shit. So I
Mm-mm.
don't
No,
know.
it's not, man. There's so much to it. And then there's also the worry about the government overstepping and like, is
Yeah.
this too much, And
Yeah.
just you
Well,
never
I'm
know,
reading
right?
a
Like,
no,
go
I
on.
mean, I'm reading a book about the Spanish influenza in 1918. I got
Yeah,
a couple books that I'm starting to pour through, and it's both encouraging and disheartening, um, because
sure.
it's like, okay, we didn't know shit about that until this hit, which really is really
Hmm.
encouraging if you think about it. It killed 2.5 times, I think, roughly 2.5 times more people than World War One, and you have no idea, which means everything like permanent changes were made and became changes, and no one knew or cared anymore, right? So that's good.
Right.
But then on the off, like what hurts is a lot of people are making the exact same mistakes now. Like down to like governors and mayors of certain cities saying the exact same thing that they said in 1918.
Like what?
Like just certain things about what one governor from New Orleans, I think, or like the mayor of New Orleans was like in
Hmm.
1918, like, oh, the summer season will wipe it all away and it'll be fine. We don't have to do anything.
Sure.
Or like oddly enough, Ohio reacted very similarly in 1918 as they did now. They were kind of ahead of the game
Interesting.
as far it's really weird how almost exactly the same socially it is in a lot of ways.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not to the point of the book where fall hits and the second wave of when it really got bad,
Yeah.
because like the first wave was pretty much brought on by soldiers from World War One being shipped around. They'd gotten
Yeah.
it over in Europe and then kind of ended up spreading it here. And but like the second wave, I don't know yet. I'll tell you when I get to that part of the book. But
Sure.
it's weird how in some ways history is repeating itself, but then the world's very different now. There are a lot of things
Yeah.
that are the same, but it's also like so. You can't predict how it's going to play out, or can't really know what it is.
Hmm.
But flu shots are a normal thing. Like no one even gives a shit anymore.
Yeah.
So this, in my estimation, like I just have hope of, well, hell, this will just become a normal thing and no one will give a shit after a few years. It'll just be like, okay, yeah, it's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
like
we're worried about
that's kind of the way I see it too, right? Like after a few years, like this is gonna pass because it has to. It's really
it.
that
Mm-hmm.
simple. If it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't pass, we're all gone, and that's that. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Uh,
we at some point we're either gonna come up with like a legitimate vaccine that works. We're gonna come up with a herd immunity,
mm-hmm.
or it's just gonna kind of, for whatever reason, kind of peak and tail off, and that'll be that. And like honestly, we don't we don't know if there's gonna be a second wave or not. Like it sounds like there's a
Yeah.
lot more people who have been infected than what we originally thought. Every time they come out with another round of like widespread testing, we find more people who have popped for it.
Yeah. Which
And
is a good thing, man. Yeah, it gives me a lot of hope. If a lot of people had it and didn't know, that's perfect.
Yeah, dude. And like, man, so my uncle actually, he used to spend a lot of time in China for his job. So he's got a lot of Chinese friends. And so he's been seeing things. He's known things from beyond the Great Chinese Firewall that most of us probably haven't been privy to. Okay. And man, it was pretty bad over there. Like it was worse than what they told us for sure. I mean, I think we all kind of know that. The lockdown was pretty brutal, and then they did have a bit of a second wave. But from what I've heard, I don't think it's gotten any worse. I think they just kind of resurged a little bit and then tailed off.
Cool. Okay.
But I don't know for sure. I haven't talked to him in a couple of weeks, so maybe I should re-up on that info. But back in November, early December, him and his wife were down in Colombia because he's married to a Colombian woman, and they were down there and wound up they were either down there. Yeah, he must have been down there. And they saw a bunch of his friends from China, and they all hung out and all of that. And a week or two later, all of them came down with something terrible. We don't know what it was, but it was pretty damn close to COVID symptoms. And then my uncle saw my grandma and she came down with it, whatever it was. And then I spent a week at home with my grandma and my mom and my stepdad and my brother. And all of us got something that didn't seem quite as bad, but we all got something. And so it's like none of us have been tested, but like, I mean, all signs point to it,
Yeah, so we just need widespread testing to get everyone confirmed.
Really, I mean, that's the only way we're going to know anything. The more testing we get, the more we're going to know. And there's also the sample bias. We test people who have symptoms. We don't test people who don't. So we're not ever going to get a real sample.
You don't have a real number. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the other thing I read about is in 1918, flu was actually not a reportable disease.
Interesting.
And it wasn't until after the first wave, actually. And so all the numbers aren't exactly accurate. They just kind of have like major cities and they go off if you actually got reported as the flu, and then people have pneumonia, because pneumonia was reportable. And so it's not, I'm saying it's not a guess, it's not an estimation, because if you look at symptoms and autopsy reports, it points pretty clearly if it was the Spanish flu. But yeah, it's sort of the same thing.
Right. Well, then 30, 40 years before the Spanish flu, like tuberculosis messed a whole bunch of people up.
And polio, and I mean, so I mean, it's not a new thing, but but it's just no one alive today has gotten to live through this portion of something like this.
Dude, there was one guy I saw, and I never really looked it up and made sure it was real, but I heard a story about one dude who's like 101 years old. He was born into the Spanish flu. I doubt he actually had it, but he was born into the Spanish flu. Got coronavirus earlier this year and then recovered.
I read that story. Yeah.
It's like, what is this dude? Like, what's going on? This dude's lived through a hell of 100 years. Like,
he's lived through some shit, man. Yeah, geez.
Yeah.
It was that walking uphill both ways to school.
Totally, man. It does it for you in the snow without shoes.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the way jiu-jitsu is, I feel like we have to be immune to some shit, the way we
God.
Dude. I feel like we have very strong immune systems just from other people's sweat alone.
Right.
The amount of other people's sweat that's been in my eyeballs, I better be good.
You're strong,
man. It's one thing I don't miss.
Yeah.
Sweat in my mouth and eyes.
I kind of miss it. It's weird, but
my neck feels good.
How's your neck, dude?
Oh, it feels great right now.
Cool. Been having neck problems, or?
Yes and no. Like I sleep on it funny, and I should probably go to a doctor, but I haven't. Mike's basically he's PT by education, so he's
Exercise
running me through some
physiology.
good
I'm not
shit.
quite a PT yet, but
Yeah, you
Sure.
know,
I should be. I should be at some point.
he helps me out. He's fixed me up significantly. So
Nice.
Yeah, I've had every
that
injury
was
known to me, but
yeah. He's had disgusting injuries, and he's learned to fix them. And most of my injuries, he's learned to fix that too. So
it's
I was
fun.
pretty beat up. Then he fixed me up. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my chiropractor, he's a jiu-jitsu brown belt and a judo black belt. And he's got some Muay
Sweet.
Thai experience too. So all I gotta do is walk in and be like, setting an armbar too much, and he's like, okay. That's exactly what to do. It's nice.
It's
That's
good to
fun.
have a doctor with background. It's because like I remember going to doctors like as a kid, when I was a kid, like younger, and they'd be like, I was doing jujitsu. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is you stop? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Well, and then they don't get it, right? Like if they don't
Yeah.
have an athletic background, their priority isn't get you on the mats. Their priority is stop the injury.
Well, it's not even athletic, dude. If they're like a ball sports person, they're not going to understand.
Right.
Like,
Right. Maybe not the exact injuries, but like my experience, especially like playing in college with, but that was different, right? That was sports trainers. Those were people who were like, you're here to play. Yeah, that was totally different. That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I've been working with a physical therapist, benefits of lockdown. I've gotten in contact with a guy that we used to compete in Taekwondo at the same time back in the day. He was a featherweight, so we never fought, but he's a badass PT. He's worked with the Steelers. He's worked with Cirque du Soleil.
Nice.
He works with LAFC now. And he could take on a few mobile clients because he was just trying to, I mean, really, he needed to pay his overhead to keep his employees okay. And I was able to sign up with him. His name's Jason Hahn. And to give him my injury list was funny, but then he understood it. Like no other PT I've ever worked with, like got it. And he like narrowed things down. And I have bad hips. I've had hip surgeries, and one of my hips is kind of going again. And he kind of figured out like my left big toe doesn't work properly. And it's spent most of the 21st century not working properly. So I kind of didn't notice it anymore. Even with all my analysis and stuff, I just kind of got used to it. And he's really been fixing my hip, and working with him, like he understands. Like he doesn't know jujitsu, but he knows Taekwondo, and that's where most of these things came from. And so it makes a big difference when your medical professional like actually understands.
Yeah, definitely.
So with your like ball sport background, like lacrosse, right, and then coming into jiu-jitsu, like what things did you take from your ball sport background? What helped you in jiu-jitsu, and then like what held you back?
You know, I think the biggest help has just been like a focus on the grind. Like I have a lot of people ask me if I have a wrestling background.
Sure.
And I don't know. I think it's kind of my style has kind of evolved in that direction a little bit. But I also think that a lot of the reason it evolved in that direction was just because of that hardcore background that I had. Like we won, like there was a club team in college and at University of Colorado. And we won a national championship my freshman year. And
sweet.
Even like, yeah, it was a club team, right? It's not like I'm playing a D1 sport, but like to win a national championship at any level is hard. Like,
yeah.
And that team that year really taught me what it takes to win. Right. Where it's like no holds barred, like sacrifice everything you possibly can, buy in as much as you can, because that's the only way we're going to be the best. And man, like it paid off, you know? And like that, my coach back there was really just like in our intro meeting, the first week of school in the fall, my freshman year, he pulls up this slide, like this slideshow, and he hated PowerPoints, but he had one this day for some reason. And like the first slide was like, what makes a CU lacrosse player? And he sat there and he looked at us and he hit the button on it to bring the first bullet point out. And it just said, you gotta love to run. That was it. That was like the whole slide. It was like, you have to love to run. And he owned up to that, right? Like we ran all the time. Just conditioning, man, sprints every single day. Like our fitness test was centered around sprints. It was just like run and run and run and run and run. And that was it, man. Like, more than anything else, it was just that commitment and that like understanding of what it takes to really be the best and how to work hard that I think wrestling gives you. But I just happened to get from a kind of different direction than most people in the combat sports world. And then what held me back was like, I've always played team sports. I've always had other people to rely on, and I've had other people to, for better or worse, point fingers at when things go south, you know? And like,
Sure.
I always played goalie, so it was a bit of a unique position. But at the end of the day, like, man, if things are going bad, like, I could at least get in the car afterwards and bitch to my girlfriend or my mom or my dad, like, man, he messed up today, or he did this or that. And I always try to take responsibility as much as I could, but like, you still make excuses, right?
Right.
And then coming to jiu-jitsu, like, I had to unlearn that. And it was like, it held me back at first, but I think once I got used to it, it's been huge for me, like in my personal development of like, I mean, when you lose a jiu-jitsu match, like, you can't, it's you, right? Like, yeah, maybe your coach could have done X, Y, or Z, but like at the end of the day, like, it's you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Like it makes you claim responsibility really fucking quick. Yep. Like
real quick, man.
Yeah. I wrestled and played football like tandemly at one point, and like like you said, like you could point your finger at a teammate, like you could do your job 110%, everything could still get fucked up or like all that stuff. But you know, you go into wrestling, like you fucked up and you got pinned and you did this and this led to that. Like it just traces back to every decision and everything is yours. And that, especially in jiu-jitsu, any grappling form, obviously, but like, I like that. And it taught me that.
I do too.
And obviously you're taking that into like coffee and marketing, and that's dope. So love it.
Yeah. It's that
different
Jocko
direction.
It's that Jocko attitude, extreme self-ownership.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
Dude, I read that book, man. And I love that.
I still have to. Yeah,
I've never read that
it's
book.
A great one.
I can't believe I haven't. Yeah. I just got his book on leadership, actually. And,
I have looking at me right now, Extreme Ownership and the Dichotomy of Leadership.
Yeah. And we have all the Warrior Kids. Have you ever read Jocko's children's books? Yes. Way of the Warrior Kid. There's 3 of them. Just buy them. That's my daughter's summertime book. That's the first book of the summer, 3 years in a row. When we read it for the Den book, it's phenomenal.
Nice,
dude.
But yeah,
Jocko's into everything, dude. He's into books, jeans, supplements, jiu-jitsu. He's all
got everything.
Like,
yeah, he's into it, man. Well, he just does stuff, you know. Like,
exactly. That's
the cool part about like him and Rogan both, man. They just do things.
Yeah, they're like, I want this, and I do it, and I make it, or I find someone who makes it well, and like learn, or you know, I respect that. So
got to, yeah.
So, and that's obviously like that's why we're drawn to like people like you have your own thing, you believe in it, you're doing it. We're like, fuck yeah.
Not quite at his level yet, but hopefully one day.
Hey, everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah, we're climbing, baby. That's how it is.
Yeah. Even we're getting better. We got free coffee from somebody. That was a big goal, man.
Well, shit, yeah, man.
Gotta try. Learning new shit every day, so it's cool.
Yeah, getting better. So, I don't know, Mike. You got anything else, man?
I don't think so, man.
Man, we're about done. Yeah, we have like after about an hour, we both peter out, man. We can't think of about it anymore.
Yeah, about an hour is about the time I'm like, all right, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like,
yeah.
I just had a whole French press of coffee. Like,
so go ahead and like plug websites, Instagrams, and like anyone else you want to plug or anything. Like, go ahead and rip it off.
Yeah, man, you can find us. Most of our social media is on our Instagram at Ground Shark Coffee Co. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search Ground Shark Coffee. Our website, groundsharkcoffee.com. And our Twitter at GroundSharkCC. My personal Twitter is where I do most of my shit posting. I use my personal Twitter quite a bit, but I use the company Instagram more than I use the company Twitter. But then we've got our new roast coming out in a week, the Horizon Roast. We've also got a new handmade mug coming out in a couple days, our brown belt mug. We've been doing a belt series, and they're pre-order only. And that goes into production, I think, Friday the 22nd. So
Are those like the enamel ones? Those like
yeah.
Dude, those look nice. I saw those.
Dude, they're so cool, man. The girl who makes them, she's actually a white belt up in Portland, or up in Oregon. I think she's in Oceanside. So we found her through the community. So that's been really cool being able to work with more jiu-jitsu people.
Dude, that's super cool.
Yeah, but she that was actually supposed to get released today, but she got double hip surgery like 2 weeks ago. She's like, yeah, I can still do it. She's like, I can still do it. I'm like, Haley, wait. We're gonna give it a week.
Random specific question: was it replacement or was it just like refinement?
I think she had a bone spur digging into her labrum or something.
Okay, yeah, those are both my hip surgeries. They basically just go in with a Dremel tool and a staple gun.
Dude, it's nasty.
And, it's the best injury I've ever had.
What do you mean?
Because it felt so good when it was done. Like,
oh yeah,
my hips hurt all the time, and to have like it's weird. Like, you get used to it, but it's a very indescribable kind of pain. And so instantly woke up from the surgery, and I was like, even with 20 pounds of swelling on my leg, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. Yes.
You ever had cauliflower ear?
No, Cheney has. Mike has. But I do not have it yet.
I'd imagine it's the same feeling as after you get your cauliflower ear drained, and you're like, oh,
yeah. There's nothing like that.
So much better. Did you guys watch the fight Saturday night, real quick?
No,
or no, not Saturday.
Yes,
Wednesday.
I haven't watched those ones yet. I watched some of the prelims, but I didn't watch the Wednesday ones.
Okay, from Wednesday when Lionheart, he had his cauliflower ear popped.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was nasty, but like, I mean, it looks nasty when that happens, but at the end of the day, it's like, well, you know what? That probably feels better. Like,
yeah, probably
good. All that pressure is finally gone. Like, he probably feels good. Like, cauliflower ear was like, I've had some weird injuries, and honestly, it was probably the worst one I've had. Like, it just sucks the whole time.
Yeah. I got mine drained one day and then did a judo tournament the next day. Very stupidly, and didn't wear headgear, obviously. So that was just horrendous.
Awful.
It was terrible.
My second one, I decided not to drain on my left ear. I decided not to drain it, and it was finally getting better, and I signed up for a tournament, and this dude, I turtled up, and he cross-faced the living hell out of me, and it just swelled up, man. It was like, oh, that was horrible. I lost the match, too. I'm like, why did I do this?
Ruined your fucking day.
Yeah, right? It's like, this is worse, and I lost. Like, God, I had won, and at least been worth it.
Right. Like, I have a badge of honor.
Yeah, right? Well, whatever. My first one I actually got in a jiu-jitsu camp down in Rio, which was like, that's kind of a cool story on that one.
Totally.
But yeah, so anyway, you can find us at Ground Shark Coffee Co. We've got that mug coming out next weekend and the Horizon Roast coming out. And then I think that's about it, other than all the other social medias. So
awesome, brother.
All right, sweet.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Dude, thank you so much. Thank you for sending us the coffee and coming on, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, dude. It's been fun.
Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you guys.
All right. Well, then we will catch you later. And
all right, gents.
Yep. All right, man.
Have a good one, man.
Hey, you too. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe.
Yeah, you too. Peace.
All right, later.
All right, Mike. That was cool.
All right, Bretta. Yeah, dude,
I'm continually impressed with the sound quality.
It works.
Of all of us calling in, and it sounds really good.
Yeah.
So
aside from awesome. Like, if we could do video and social queuing would be better, but
yes, we're getting better. We're getting better at it. But,
it's all good. That was great, Nick. I love Nick. That was a great story. That was fun.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Looking forward to it. All right, y'all. Yeah. Keep your copy regular.
Yeah, peace in, everybody.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.